Okay. So we are in files, right? So we have seen what are the basic steps, right? How to create a files. Sissa, Sisendra. अभी सो के उठ के आएगा हाँ So we have seen what is a file is. A file is a, now I said there are two types of files are there. And why we are using a files? We are using a files to save the data permanently. So there are different types of files are there. One is a text file and one more is which one? Binary file. So inside text file, data is stored in text format or string format. It allows only which type of data? String type of data. But inside binary file, we can store which type of data? Bytes. Now these are the basic steps to work with the files. First step is you have to open the file, and second is you have to read or write, and third one is you have to close the file. And I said how to open the file. To open the file, you are trying to use a function called open. So open, it followed by file name and it followed by mode. So we have seen how to open the file in W. W means what? Write. So W means write. Always it will create one new file. Okay. And after creating a file, if you want to write data, you are writing it by using a function called write. And there is one more function called print. So the following functions or methods are used for writing text or string inside a file. The first one is write and second one is what? Print. So how can you write it? So two functions are there. First one is write and second one is what? Print is there. But using write, you can able to write only strings. You cannot able to write any type of data. You can able to write only which type of data? String data. So this is a function main. First, you open the file. What is the name of the file? File1.txt. What is the name of the file? File1.txt. Okay. Then I try to open this file in W. W means what here? Write. So, but what is the default type of file? Text file. Okay. If the type is not defined, what is the type here? Text. So after that, how can I write it? I can use write. Okay. So this is what here? Text file. This is text file. Then I try to close the file by saying f dot close. So that is to close the file. Somebody is recording. Okay. So you can close the file by using close. F dot close. Okay. F dot close is there. That is to close the file. So once you run this, now this data is written inside a file. But how can I find out this? Just open this file. But where this file is created or given any location of this file? No. If the location of file is not given, then this file is created where? In the current working directory. So what is my current working directory? Python 11 AM. What is my current working directory? Python 11 AM. Okay. That is the current working directory. And inside this, you can find what is the name of the file? File 1. You can see what is the name of the file. File 1. You can just open. You can see this is which file? Text file. But using write, I can able to write only strings. For example, if I'm writing f dot write 101, but what is 101? Integer. Can I write an integer using write? No. I cannot write an integer using write. So it is given immediately error saying that type error, write argument must be which type? String, but it should not be which type? Integer. Then to avoid this error, what I have to do? I have to convert this integer to what? String. How can you convert integer to string? By using a function called str. By using str function, I can convert integer to what? String. But I cannot write directly integer. If I am trying to write integer, then immediately it is given which error? Type error. Okay, because write allows you to write only which type of data? String data. But it doesn't allow you to write which type of data? Integer data. But I want to write any type of data by converting into which type? String type. Then you take the help of print function. Then you take the help of which function? Print function. Okay. So what is output is? File 1.txt. So where this file is created is this file is created inside current working directory. Okay, this file is created inside where? Current working directory. So output is saved. Output is saved inside file 1.txt, and this file is created inside current working directory. So the directory where you have a source program, in the same directory it will create a file with the name file 1.txt. So if I want to write different types of data, okay, suppose I want to create one file, open, and the name of the file is, I want to create one file. What is the name of the file? Is student.txt. I open this file in which mode? Doubly. So where I want to write whose data? Student data. I want to write student data. Okay. So I'm just writing here while true. So here I try to input roll number. So input, enter roll number. So you're trying to input roll number. Then you're trying to input what here? Name. You're trying to input roll number and name. And yes, roll number, name, course. Input what you have to input here, course. So I want to input these details. That is roll number, name, and course. I want to input this many number of values. Okay. So after reading these details, you are trying to write these details inside. You are trying to write these details inside a file. How can you write these details inside a file? By using print. So what you are printing here, roll number, then you are printing name, and then you are printing which one? Course. And you are using a separator as a \n. But where you are writing all this data inside one file, what is the file I'm using? F. So, but what is the default file used by print? std out. But instead of printing inside std out, I try to define my own file. What is the name of the file I used here? F. F represent, what is the name of the file? Student.txt. After that, you're asking whether you want to add one more student. So add another student. Add another student. Okay, you want to add another student. If answer is no, if the answer is no, okay, then what you have to do is you have to write break. Now break is for terminating or not? Yes. So after that, I close the file by saying f.close. F.close. Now this is for closing which one? File. So while true, I mean this loop is executed how many times? Infinite times. This loop is executed how many times here? Infinite times. Where you're trying to input roll number, you're trying to input what? Name, you're trying to input what? Course. After giving these three values, you're trying to put these three values into one file. And what is the name of the object here? F. Okay, now after that, so when you run this, now it's asking to input roll number. So name of the student. Okay, name of the student. And course of the student. Add another student. I'm saying yes. Roll number. Okay, name of the student. And course of the student. Add another student. Yes. Okay, input roll number. Roll number of the student. Okay, name of the student. And the course of the student. Add another student. I'm saying no. All right. That exclamatory is there. Okay, name of the student and the course of the student, I'm saying no. So how many student details are added here? 4 student. But where these student details are added in one file. What is the name of the file? Student. But actually 101 is a value of which type? Integer. But when you are using a print function, this print function convert integer to what? String. This print function convert integer to string. Actually, print function will concatenate all these values. Print function, it will concatenate all these values by using a separator called \n. Print function, it will concatenate all these values by using a separator called \n. After concatenating all these values, it will write these values into what? File. But if I don't give the file, what is the default file? std out, which is nothing but console. Right? So if you want to write anything inside a file, you can write it by using a function called print. So generally in application development, you'll try to use the files for storing data. Because whatever objects you create, all those objects are created within the RAM. And whatever data you store within the RAM, is it temporary or permanent? Temporary. Whatever data you store within the RAM, is it temporary or permanent? Temporary. If you want to save the data permanently, you have to use which one? File. You can store it either inside a file or you can store it inside what? Database. You can store either inside a file or you can store either inside what? Database. Two systems are there. Okay, this is writing inside a file. After writing, when I required, I should read it. After writing, when I required, I should read it, right? When I required, I should read the data from that file. Then how can I read the data from the file? So I can read the data from the file. So I can read the data from the file. The next is reading data from the existing file. Okay, reading data from existing file. How can you read the data from existing file? So reading data from existing file required to open file in which mode? Read mode. Okay, read mode, or what is that? R. You have to open the file in which mode? R. W means write, R means read. And the following functions are used to read data from file. So what are the functions are used is, one is a read. Okay, read it followed by n, and second one is read line, it followed by n. Two functions are there, one is read and one more is what? Read line. Two functions are there. First function is read and second function is what? Read line. First function is read and second function is what? Read line. First function is read and second function is read line. Sorry. Functions are there. One is called as a read and one more function you have is a read line. Now, if you see this read function, right? Now, this is a read, it followed by size. So read line, it followed by size here. But if you don't give the size, it will read the complete file. If you don't give the size, it will read the complete file. You can see read, it followed by size equal to -1. If the size is negative, if the size is negative or 0, it will read the complete file. If the size is 0 or negative, it will read the complete file. Now you can see read, it followed by size, return and return at most size characters from the stream as a single string. If the size is negative or none, reads until what? EOF. EOF stands for end of file. EOF stands for what here? End of file. And there is one more read line is there. Now read until new line or end of file and return a single string. Okay, read until new line or end of file and return a single string. If the stream is already at end of file, an empty string is what? Written. If the size is specified, at most size characters will be read. So, but read line, it will read one line. Read line at a time, it will read how many lines? Only one line. But if you define the size, this size doesn't indicate number of lines, but this size defines number of characters. The size doesn't represent number of lines, but this size represents what? Number of characters. But read line will read at a time how many lines? Only one line. Okay, one line or until end of file. If there is no line separator, then it will read until end of file. Otherwise, it will read one line at a time. But read will read the complete file and written as one string. Read will read the complete file and written as one string. Okay, yes. But if there is no data to read, what it will written is empty string. If there is no data inside a file to read, then what it returns? Empty string. Empty string. If there is no data, then it will return empty string. For example, so already we have one file, right? See, if you want, you can handle the errors by writing in try and catch or except block. Except block. Try and except block. And followed by which one? Finally block. You can write that. Okay. Or you can write it without handling what? Errors. But it is good programming to write a program by handling what? Errors. So within the try block, what you can do, you can say f equal to, you can write f equal to open. So you are trying to open the file. What is the name of the file? File1.txt, and you are trying to open the file in which mode? R. R is nothing but read. So then I'm saying s equal to f dot read. But are you define any size here? No. The size is not defined. Then it will read the complete file or not? Yes. It will read the complete file and assign to which variable? S. It will read the complete file and assign to which variable? S. And after that, I'm trying to print what is that value? S value. And it followed by which block here? Except block. And except block, generally this will raise which error? OS error. OS error, file not found error, you can handle it. Suppose there is a file not found error. This file not found. File not found error is there. So when this error is occurred, if it is unable to find which file? File1.txt. Then here you can display the message. Unable to, or file not exists. Okay, file not exists. File not found error. Who will raise the file not found error? Open. This open function raises which error? File not found error. If it is unable to open the file, which file? File1.txt, then it raises which error? File not found error. And you are handling it that by using which block? Except block. Except which error are you handling? File not found error. And then it followed by which block here? Finally block. And within finally block, you are saying f dot. F dot, what is that? Close. Close the file. Close the file. Then I call the function main. This is how you need to handle the errors. Once you run this, this is a text file and 101. 101 is also there. 101 is also there. 101 is also there, right? So is it read the complete file or not? Yes, it is read the complete file. It is read the complete file, but you don't want to read the complete file. You don't want to read the complete file. You want to read each time one character. You don't want to read the complete file, but you want to read each time one character. For example, you don't want to read the complete file. Suppose write a program to count how many vowels exist within, okay, how many vowels exist within file. I want to know how many vowels are there in a given file. So write a program to count how many vowels. Write a program to count how many vowels exist within a file. How many vowels are there inside a file? I want to count it. So then what I have to do first? I have to open the file. I have to open the file in read. Okay. So within try. So open the file. F equal to open. What is the name of the file? File1.txt. And from this file, are you writing or reading? Reading. And there is a count. The value of count is what? 0. And while I'm saying here true. This loop is executed how many times? Infinite times. And every time you are reading one character by saying f dot read, how many characters you are reading? 1. So 1 means how many characters will it read? 1 character at a time. But if I don't give the size, will it read 1 character or all the characters? All the characters. But I don't want to read all the characters, but I want to read how many characters at a time? Only 1 character. If the character is in, if the character is, suppose, if the character is empty, what I have to do? Break. Suppose if there is no data inside a file, then what it will return? Empty. If the character is empty, then I just terminate it by using break. Otherwise, if the character in, what is that? AEIOU. If the character is AEIOU, what I have to do? I have to count it by saying count is count plus 1. Then after the loop, I have to print. So number of vowels, format. So format count of vowels. I try to display which one? Count. So try block followed by which block? Except block. And file not found. Which error here? File not found error. File not found error. Okay. So file not exists. If I give wrong file name, I'll get this message. And finally block. I try to close the file by saying f dot what is it? Close. Allocating resources and deallocating resources. So allocation of resources are done inside try block, and deallocation of resources is done in which block? Finally block. So here we try to open the file, and here we try to close the file. Here we try to open the file, and the file which is opened, okay, that file you are closing it by using which block? Finally block. Okay, the file which is opened, that you are closing it using finally block. Now how many vowels are there? 5. You can see I is vowel. 1, 2, okay, 3 and 4, and one more value is a 5. But read will return empty if there is no characters to read. But here 1 indicates how many characters you are reading? 1 character. Here 1 indicates 1 character. If I don't give the size, will it read complete file or not? Yes. If I don't give the size, it will read the complete file. But I don't want to read the complete file. I want to read each time how many characters? 1 character. Then I try to define the size. The size is given what here? 1. What is the size is given here? 1. Right? Yes. So here the number of vowels are 5. Count of vowels are 5, right? Then next is, now read is there. Now read is for reading the complete file, but read line, okay, read until new line or end of file and written as a single string. I want to read the content of, now I want to read the student data. Student data, each time I want to read one line. So this is a student file, right? Now roll number is one line, name is one line, course is one line. Roll number is one line, name is one line, course is one line. Roll number is one line, name is one line, and course is one line. Roll number is one line, name is one line, and course is what? One line. Now each time I want to read one line. Each time I want to read one line, how can I read each time one line? A read line. So read will read only one character or complete file. But I want to read each time one line. How can I read each time one line? I can read each time one line by using read line. So I just open the file. I'm not handling the error here. If you want, you can handle the error. Student.txt. What is the name of the file? Student.txt. I try to open this file in which mode? Read. I try to open this file in which mode? Read mode. So what is the name of the file? Student1.txt. Name of the file is txt. Now I want to read roll number. So f.read line. So this will read roll number. First line is what? Roll number. Second, I'm saying name, f.read line. F.read line. And this will read the second line, which is a name, and course equal to f.read line. This will read the third line. And what is the third line here? Course. Roll number, name, and one more value is a course. And after reading these three values, I try to close the file by saying f.close. F.close. That will close the file. Now you can see 101 Naresh, and one more is what? Python. But is it read? Is it read all the lines or only one line? One line. If you want to read all the lines, if you want to read all the lines, what do you do it? While you are trying to put inside what? Loop. So while true. So each time you are reading one line. So roll number, name, and course. Suppose read line is there. If roll number equal to which one? Empty. Then what do you have to do here? Break. Otherwise, read the rest of the lines. Now, will it this read? Will it this read all the lines or not? Yes. This is the first student, and this is the second student, and this is the third student, and this is what here? Fourth student. How many student details I read here? All the students. But read line will read one line or all the lines? One line only. Read line doesn't read all the lines. Read line will read how many lines? Only one line. If you want to read all the lines, you have to put inside a loop. But you are reading it how many times? Until read line returns which string? Empty string. Until read line returns which string? Empty string. You are reading all the lines. You are reading all the lines one by one until read line returns which string? Empty string. Until read line returns what here? Empty string. You are reading it. Okay, right? So this is how you are trying to read it. All the lines one by one. So this is where you find the difference between read and read line. Okay. So read line, it will read each time one line, but read will read the complete file. And if you want to read individual characters, then you define the size. How many characters you want to read, you define that particular size by using read. You define that particular size by using which one? Read. Then this is how you are working with the text file. So these are text file here. Okay, text file means you can able to write only which type of data? Text data. Okay, it means only strings. If you want to write any numbers also, you have to convert into what? String. But text is a lightweight. Okay, text is a lightweight and it doesn't occupy more space. But when it comes to the images, images is not text, right? Image is not a text. Image is not a text, right? Image is not a text. Audio file is not a text. Video file is not a text. Then you have to read and write the data in the form of what? Bytes. For example, I want to write an integer as an integer. Suppose I want to write an integer as an integer. I want to write a float as a float. I want to write employee as an employee. Suppose I create my own data type. I build my own class called employee. I want to save the employee object. I want to save the student object. How can I save this employee object and student object? I cannot convert student object into a string. I cannot convert employee object into what? String. If I convert employee object into a string, if I read, it will read as a string, but not as a employee. Then how can I persist this employee object or student object or integer object or float object? By converting all this data into which one? Bytes. So for that, you are using one module. You are using one module. What is the name of the module? Pickle module. You are using one module. What is that module? Is pickle module. And this pickle module is used for object. This pickle module is used for object serialization, object serialization, and what? Deserialization. Object serialization, and one more is what? Deserialization. For that, you are using one module. What is it module you are using? Pickle module. This module is used for object serialization. This module is used for object serialization, and what is that? Deserialization. This module is used for object serialization, and what? Deserialization. So that you are doing it using which module? Pickle module. So what is this pickle module and what is use of it? For example, I created integer object. Assume that this is which object? Integer object. This is integer object. Or assume that I created one employee object. Okay, assume that this is which object here? Employee object. But where these objects are created in? These objects are created in which memory? Main memory. These objects are created in which memory? Main memory. And what is that main memory is called as here? RAM. Where these objects are created in main memory, and this main memory is nothing but RAM. But whatever objects you created within the RAM, is it temporary or permanent? Temporary. But I want to save this object inside a disk. And how can I save inside the disk? By writing inside one file. But is it employee? EMP object is a type of string? No. EMP object is an object of which type here? Employee type. So what is employee here? Class. What is employee here? Class. Is it this is predefined data type or user defined? User defined. Then I want to save this object. I want to save this object inside a file. Then how can I save this object inside a file? I can persist or I can write this object inside a file by converting this object into what here? Bytes. I can convert this object into which one? Bytes. And write inside which one? File. And when I read this data, it will read the data in the form of which one? Bytes. And convert into which one? Object. So converting object into a bytes is called as which one? Serialization. And converting bytes into an object is called as which one? Deserialization. Converting object into a bytes is called as which one? Serialization. And converting bytes into the object is called as which one? Deserialization. Converting bytes into the object is called serialization, and converting bytes again back to the object is called deserialization. And this serialization and deserialization is done by using which module here? Pickle module. Pickle module. Pickle module. So it is also used for pickling and unpickling, and it is a default module which comes with the Python software. This pickle module comes with the Python software. Pickle module comes with the Python software here. So Python object is serialization. Object is serialization is there. This is what you call it as. So the pickle module implements binary protocols for pickle module implements binary protocol for pickle module implements binary protocols for serializing and what? Deserializing a Python object structure. The pickle module implements binary protocols for serializing and deserializing a Python object structure. So pickling is a process whereby a Python object hierarchy is converted into what? Bytes. And unpickling is a inverse operation whereby byte stream or binary file or bytes like object is converted back into what? Object hierarchy. So pickling is an alternative known as serialization, and what is that? Marshalling. In other languages like Java, if you are working with Java, you'll call it as serialization. In .NET, it is called as what? Marshalling. So in Python, it is called as which one? Pickling. In Python, it is called as what? Pickling. Pickling is nothing but serialization. Unpickling is nothing but what? Deserialization. It means converting object into what? Bytes, and converting bytes again back to what? Object. So that you call it as pickling and what? Unpickling. However, to avoid confusion, the terms used here are pickling and what is that? Unpickling. So what is pickling? Is a process of converting. See here, pickling is a process of converting Python object hierarchy. Python object hierarchy means you develop one class. That class inherit what? The properties of which one? Another class. So it will try to save the complete object hierarchy, or it will try to save the complete object graph into what? File. So that when it read it, it should reconstruct what? The same object by reading the same hierarchy or not? Yes. So that process you call it as which one? Pickling. So pickling is a process whereby a Python object hierarchy is converted into what? Bytes. And unpickling is the inverse operation whereby byte stream is converted back into which one? Object hierarchy. So that you can call it as pickling and what? Unpickling. And the same thing is called as serialization and deserialization. The same thing is called as serialization and what? Deserialization, or you can call it as pickling and what? Unpickling. Okay. Pickling and unpickling are serialization and what? Deserialization. Okay. Right. Just try to understand this. Yes. So for this, right. So for this, it is providing two methods here. So it is having some functions or methods are there. One is called as a pickle.dump. So dump is for writing inside a file. So object comma file. So write the pickled representation of the object. So pickle.dump, pickle.dump, pickle.dump. So write the pickled representation of the object to the open file, object file. Pickled representation of, yes. Write the pickled representation of the object to the open file, object file. Further you are using dump. And there is one more which is called as pickle.load. So there is one more function is there. And what is that function is? Load is there. Now read the pickled representation of object from the open file, object file, and return the reconstituted object hierarchy specified. Okay. So this is loading from the file. One is for writing and one more is for reading. So there is a load is there. Two functions are there. One is write and one more is what? One is a dumper. One is the dump and one more is what? Load. Two things are there. One is the dump is there. One function is dump. Dump is a function. So where you are specifying the object and you are writing this object inside file. And this is a load. Whatever object you write inside a file, you are again converting back into the object by using which one? Load. So dump is one function and load is what? Another function. For example, this here. But this is writing in the form of what? Bytes. Converting into bytes is called as pickling, right? For example, I try to import which module here? Pickle module. I try to import the pickle module. And after importing the pickle module, I try to open the file. So what is the file I'm trying to create is some file one dot. So generally this serialized file will have the extension dot SCR. SCR means this file contain which objects? Serialized objects. So generally you identify the files with the type, with the extension or not? Yes. So what is the name of the file? The name of the file is file one dot. What is the name of the file? File one dot. What is the name of the file? SCR. File one dot SCR. And you try to open the file in which mode here? W. So W means by default it will open this file in which one? Text. But I want to open this file in which mode? Binary. So W means write and B means what here? Binary. W means write and B means what here? Binary. Binary is nothing but bytes. So you try to open the file in write mode and this is which type of file? Binary file. If I don't give the BA, then what is the default file type? Text. But pickle module will convert the data into what? Bytes. If you want to write the bytes, then you have to open the file in which mode? B mode. B is nothing but binary. Okay. Yes. After that, assume that I want to write integer. I'll just write pickle dot. Pickle is the name of the module. And pickle dot, what is the name of the function? Dump. So I'm saying 101. 101. Actually, 101 is what? Integer. Integer object or not? Yes, it is integer object, and you are writing this integer object into what? File. You are writing this integer object inside the file. You are writing this integer object by converting into what? Bytes. You are writing this integer object by converting into bytes. Okay, pickle dot. What is that here? Dump. I'm writing 1.5. 1.5 is which object? Float object. And you are converting this float object into what? Bytes. Okay. In the same way, pickle dot. I'm saying pickle dot dump. Pickle dot dump. What you are trying to write? 1 plus 2j. 1 plus 2j is which type here? Yes. Pickle dot. Pickle dot dump. Pickle dot dump. This is which type of object? List. It means all these are different types of objects or not? Yes. But you are writing all these objects by converting into what? Bytes. And that conversion is done by which one? Dump. And dump is a function belongs to what? Pickle module. It will convert this integer to a bytes and float to bytes, and 1 plus 2j, which is complex number, into bytes. And even it will convert this list is also into what? Bytes. And that conversion is done by using which function here? Dump function. That conversion is done by using dump function, right? And after that, I try to close the file saying f dot close. So that will close the file. Okay, right now, is it writing all this data, right? So 101, 1.5, 1 plus 2j, and this list, everything is written inside what here? File. So integer is written inside file, float is written inside file, complex number is written inside file, and list is also written inside what here? File. So just to see what is this file here, file 1 dot, yeah, file 1 is there. Yeah, this is a file, but can you see the data? No, because it will try to write in which format? Byte format. So binary file, can you see it? No. Can you open the image in Notepad? If you open image in Notepad, can you see the image? No. You'll see some characters. Is it that characters are readable or not readable? Not readable. Okay, it is written. See, it is written in the form of bytes. It is written in the form of which one? Bytes. Right? And if you want to read this content, you have to read it programmatically only. If you want to read this content of this file, you have to read it through what? Program only. You have to read it through program only. So this is dump. Dump is for writing it. And if you want to read it, if you want to read the data, what you write inside a file, if you want to read the data, okay, if you want to read the data, what you write inside a file, you can read that by using load. So the output is saved. Output is saved inside. Output is saved inside what? File 1.scr. Where the output is saved inside file 1.scr. The output is saved inside one file. What is the name of the file? File 1.scr. Okay. Yes. I want to read this data. Whatever data you write, I want to read the data. So how can I read? Now this is inverse process, which is called as unpickling. So first you open the file. So what is the name of the file? File 1.scr. I try to open the file in which mode? Read. Then I try to read. Okay, pickle dot. What is that? Load. Load from where? File. So it will read which object? First object. First object is which type? Integer. But are you do any conversion? No. So B equal to pickle dot, because at the time of writing, it will also write along with the type. Okay, which one is right inside a file? Even type information also right inside a file, so that at the time of reading, it will try to read it by using the same type and reconstitute which one? Object. So pickle dot load, what you are saying? File. So C equal to pickle dot load from where? File. So first object is integer, second object is float, and third object is what? Complex. And then D equal to pickle dot, what is it again? Load. And what is the fourth object here? List. So I try to read all the objects and I try to print it. A, B, C, D, A, and I want to print these objects in new line. And then I try to close the file by saying F dot. You are closing the file by using close. F dot close. F dot close. This is how you are trying to close the file. So we have to open the file in which mode? R, and one more is what? B. Because only R means what? Text. But is it this file1.scr is a text file or binary file? Binary file. File1 dot is not a text file. It is which file? Binary file. It is not a text file. It is which file? Binary file, right? It is a binary file. It is a binary file. And if you try to execute this, now you can see 101. What is 101 here? Integer. And what is 1.5 here? Float. And what is 1 plus 2j here? Complex. And what is this here? List. Integer, float, complex number, and one more is what? List. Okay. Yes. So this process, you call it as unpickling. This process, you call it as which one? Unpickling. So pickling is there, and one more is unpickling is there. Pickling is for converting this bytes objects into bytes, and unpickling is converting bytes into which type? Object type. Okay, right. But suppose I want to write my own data type. For example, I build my own class. Okay, assume that I build my own class. There is one class. What is the name of this class? Is user defined data type. What is the name of the data type? Employee. What is the name of the data type here? Employee. Employee is a class. What is the name of the class here? Employee. Employee is the name of the class, right? So employee, what employee is having? So employee is having employee number, and employee is having employee name, and employee is having what is having? Salary. To assign the values, I'm using set employee. So there is an employee number, employee name, and one more is salary. And where I'm saying self dot employee number equal to E, and self dot employee name equal to EN, and self dot salary equal to what here? S. So self dot employee number equal to E, and self dot employee number equal to EN, and self dot salary equal to S. And there is a function called print employee. So print employee, so this will print the details of employee. So what employee is having? Employee number. What employee is having? Employee name. And what employee is having? Employee is also having which one? Salary. So employee is having employee number. Employee is having employee name. And employee also have which one? Salary. So what is the name of the class here? Employee. Having how many properties here? 3 properties. The first property is employee number. Second property is employee name. And third property is what? Salary. I try to save this in one module. So what is the name of this module? emp.py. So this is emp.py. First you create this file. What is that file? emp.py. Inside this module, I created one class. So this is reusable class. It is not executable class. Okay. It is reusable class. It is not executable class. Okay. So this class is used to represent what? Data. So first you develop this class. So this class or data type is used for representing whose data? Employees data. This is used for representing whose data here? Employees data. Used for representing whose data here? Employees data. You are representing employees data using EMP. Okay. Now, so this is, assume that this is my application where I try to import which module? Pickle module. I try to import which module? EMP module. So EMP module having which class? Employee class. EMP module is having which class? Employee class. Now this is pickle, import pickle module, and there is import which module? Employee module. Import pickle module and import which module? Employee module. So where I'm creating object of which class? Employee class. E equal to employee dot employee. So employee is a class available in which module? EMP module. Then after that I'm saying EMP dot. What is that here? Set employee. EMP dot set employee, employee number, and this is the name of the employee, and this is what here? Course. So employee number, employee number, employee name, and then next is what? Salary. Now this object is created where? In the RAM. This object is created where? Within the RAM. I want to save this object. I want to save this object inside what? File. I want to save this object inside a file, right? I want to save this object inside a file. Then first you open the file, open. So some file name, employee.scr. And I try to open this file, WB. W means what here? Write. And write in which format? Binary. And how can you write it? By saying pickle dot, what is that? Write. So pickle dot write, what you're writing? You are writing employee object inside what? Write a dumper. Dump. You are dumping which object? Employee object inside what? File. Then after that I said f dot close. So I created employee object and I write that employee object into what? File. But we write the employee. See here I created employee object. But where is employee class is there in employee module? I imported employee module and I'm saying employee dot. What is the name of the class here? Employee. So I created object of which class? Employee class. And after that I store the data and I try to write that data inside a file. What is the name of the file? Employee.scr. Okay. And how you are writing inside a file? By using which function? Dump. So dump is a function for writing it. Okay. Dump is a function for writing it, right? So this is 9. And once I run this, now is it file is created? Yes. What is the name of the file created? Employee. But see, if you see this file employee, can you see certain information like, I said no, this is the type. What is the type here? Employee. Type information is there or not? Yes. And this employee class is belongs to which module? Employee module. This employee class is belongs to which module? Employee module. So that at the time of reading it, it will look for which data type? Employee class. Where it is look for employee class in which module? EMP module. Okay. And what is writing it? Is writing employee number, employee name, and one more is what? Salary. Employee number. You can see employee number is E. E means what? 101. 101 equivalent of byte is what? E. 101. 101 means 97 is what? A. 98 is a B. 98 is a B. And 99 is what? C. 100 is a D. And 101 is what? E. If you write 101 in the text format, it will take how many bytes? 3 bytes. 1 is 1 byte, 0 is 1 byte, and 1 is a 1 byte. But this 101 is converted into how many bytes? 1 byte. So what is 101 equivalent of byte? E. If you write 101 as it is, it takes 3 bytes. But 101 is converted into how many bytes? Only 1 byte. And what is 1 byte equivalent of 101? E. So that is how it will do the conversion here. Okay. Yes. Now here we try to write this employee data inside a file. Now I want to read this employee data from the file. How can I read this employee data from the file? So I can read this employee data from the file by using load. So dump is for writing it and load is for reading it. So where is the output? Output is saved inside file. So output is saved inside file. What is the name of the file? Employee.scr. Output is saved inside file and the name of that file is employee. You have to import pickle module and you have to import which one? EMP module also. Why? Because while reading it, it will look for which class? Employee class. But where it will search for the employee class in which module? EMP module. While reading, it will search for which class? Employee class. But it will search for employee class in which module? EMP module. It will search for employee class in which module? EMP module. Okay. It will search for employee class in which module? EMP module. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just writing. So E1 equal to pickle dot, what is that? Load. So before loading it, you have to open the file, right? You have to open the file in which mode? Read mode. So what is the name of this file here? Employee.scr. You have to open the file in RB. R means read and B means what here? Binary. And you are reading from that file. And this is which object here? File object. Then once it is read, I can display this by using print what? Employee. So print employee is a method of employee class or not? Yes. Then I try to close the file by saying f dot close. See here. Pickle dot load. You are loading from where? File. So which object is written here? Employee object. And to get the data from employee, are you written any method called print employee or not? Yes. Print employee. Employee class is having which method? Print employee method. See here. What is the name of this method? Print employee. Using print employee, using print employee, you are printing the details of what? Employee. Using print employee, you are trying to print the details of what? Employee. Using print employee, you are displaying the details of employee. Okay. So once you run this, load. We write it. Okay. So what is the name of this here? 101 narration. What is the data here? 40,000, right? I think we have not written properly, right? Okay. So this is reading. I mean, deserialization or the same thing. You can call it as reading the objects from the file. So one is for writing and one more is for what? Reading here. So you can write even your own objects, but you are writing your own objects by converting into what? Bytes. And converting your object into a bytes is called as what? Deserialization. So that is called as deserialization, right? Okay. That process you are saying it as what? Deserialization. Okay, right now this is pickle module, which is called as pickling, and one more is called as which one? Unpickling. Pickling is a process of converting object into what? Bytes. So object serialization is also called as which one? Pickling. Deserialization is called as pickling, and deserialization is called as unpickling. Okay, pickling and one more is a unpickling is an inverse process of pickling here. Yes. So we can write the data as a strings. Okay, we can write the data into what? Bytes. If you want to read and write the data in the form of bytes, or if you want to read and write your own objects, then convert those data into which type? Bytes type. And this is very much useful when you're persisting your own objects. For example, if you're working in the networking, right? In networking, there are two programs will be there. Assume that one is a sender. This is a sender and this is what here? Receiver. So how the data will be transferred in the network? Always the data is transferred within the network in the form of bytes. For example, here I created employee object. I want to send this employee object toward receiver. Then how can I send it? So this network stream is which stream? Bytes. Then I have to convert this object into what? Bytes. How can I convert this object into a bytes? Using pickling. Okay. Then how this receiver convert this bytes into an object? By using unpickling. So pickling is converting object into a bytes. Unpickling is converting bytes again back to which one? Objects. So that is a different process which you are using it to convert the object into a bytes and bytes into what again? Objects. Now there is one more type of file is there. What is that file you have is CSV file. There's one more type of format, one more format of file. You can say type of file or format of the file, type of the file or format of the file. Okay, type of the file or format of the file. So there is one more file format is there. And what is that file format you have is you can call this as a CSV file, or you can call it as CSV file here. Yes. Yeah. So this is a CSV file, and this CSV indicates here comma separated values. What is CSV stands for here? Comma separated values. Okay, CSV stands for comma separated values. So yes, CSV stands for comma separated. Okay, comma separated values. What is this CSV? Is a format. CSV is CSV is what here? CSV is a format. CSV is a format or a standard. It is a format or standard used to exchange data between two different applications, or exchange data between application and database. Application and what is that? Database. CSV is a standard export and import format. Actually, CSV is a standard import and export format. Export format used by many databases, and what is that? Applications. Many databases and applications. So CSV is a format or a standard used to exchange data between two different applications or exchange data between applications and what? Database. CSV is a standard import format used by databases and what? Application. Many databases and what? Application. And CSV file is a CSV file is which file here? Text file. CSV file is which type of file here? Text file. CSV is which file? Text file. It is a text file. So to work with the CSV file, to work with CSV file, Python provides a predefined module. It provides one predefined module called which one? CSV module. So one predefined module is there. What is the name of the module used here? CSV module. So CSV module is a default module which comes with the Python software. CSV module is a default module which comes with what here? Python, which comes with the Python software. So CSV module is a default module which comes with the Python software. Is a default module. CSV module is what here? Default module. And this module come up with which software? Python software. Okay, right? For example, assume that there are two different applications you have. For example, this is one application and this is another application. Suppose assume that this is a Python program. Assume that this is a Python program and this is what here Java program. But Python d.apps cannot understand by Java. Java d.apps cannot understand by Python. Then this both the programs want to exchange the data. Then how these programs can exchange the data? So this both the program come up with one standard. What is that standard here? CSV. So what Python will do is, okay, what Python will do is, the Python will write the data in which format? CSV format, and that CSV is understood by which one? Java. And Java write the data in which format? CSV format, and that CSV is understood by which one? Python. It means these both are communicating with each other by using which standard? CSV. Not only that, for example, there is a database called which one? Oracle is there. So you are trying to write the data in which format? CSV format. Now the CSV can be imported by which one? Oracle. And the Oracle can export the data in which format? CSV, so that it can be used by Python as well as what? Java. It means many applications will exchange the data by using which format here? CSV format. Okay. So CSV is a text file, and this text file, it will write the data or a text by separating with what? Comma. So that is what you mean by comma separated value. CSV module is a default module which comes with what? Python software. To work with the CSV file, Python provides a predefined module called CSV. CSV is a standard import and export format used by many databases and what? Applications. Yes, but CSV module provide the following functions for reading and writing. So CSV module provides the following functions. One is a writer object. One more is reader object. There is a dictionary writer object. And there is a dictionary reader object. So CSV provides some objects for reading and writing. So there is a writer, reader, dictionary writer, and dictionary reader. So writer and reader objects allows to read and write in sequence using sequences. Using sequence. But dictionary writer and dictionary reader allow to read and write objects using which one here? Dictionary. So this allows to read and write in sequence. Sequence means most of the times it is done using list. But dictionary reader and writer allows to read and write objects using which data type? Dictionary data type. Okay. So, but anyway, we'll talk about this, like how to work with the CSV. But tomorrow we'll see, because this will take some time. And tomorrow we'll continue with CSV file. And then even we'll see JSON file, CSV file as well as JSON, CSV file, JSON file. And after that, we'll see another module, which is called as OS module, right? So today we'll stop it here and tomorrow we'll continue this, right? Thank you. Right.